You want to know the dirtiest secret in finance? The one thing the suits pray you never figure out? It ain't crypto. It ain't stock picks. It ain't some get-rich-quick scheme they're selling on late-night TV. It's not spending the money. That's it. That's the whole game. The unsexy, boring, unglamorous truth they don't want you knowing. They call it underconsumption. I call it the Patience Racket. And let me tell you something. You didn't hear this from me, but every billionaire, every made man with real wealth, they all figured out the same thing. The guy who can say no today is the guy who owns tomorrow. But the bosses, they need you saying yes. Every day, every purchase, every swipe of that card. Because the second you stop consuming, their whole operation falls apart. See, there's a war going on for your wallet. On one side, you got the entire consumer economy, the advertisers, the corporations, the lifestyle brands, the influencers. They're all selling you the same line: buy now. You deserve it. Treat yourself. On the other side, you got the cold hard math, the numbers that don't lie, the truth that's saying no to the new phone, the new car, the new whatever. That's how you build a war chest. But they don't want you building nothing. They want you spending. They need you broke and hungry, so you keep coming back for more. It's a shakedown, plain and simple. And you're the mark getting squeezed. So what do they tell you? What's the official narrative? Savings is putting money in the bank. It's a rainy day fund. It's that account with 0.01% interest that makes you feel responsible. That's the story they sell to the mooks. That's the sanitized, watered-down, harmless version they feed you so you don't ask too many questions. They make savings sound passive, boring, like something your grandmother did with a coffee can under the mattress. Meanwhile, the real players, they know savings ain't about hoarding cash. It's about something way more dangerous. But between you and me, that definition's a fugazi. Savings ain't just not spending. Savings is forgoing current consumption to build future productivity. You hear that? Future productivity. That's the part they don't want you understanding. All right, listen close. Here's the real definition of savings, the one they buried under 50 years of marketing and consumerism. When you don't buy that thing today, that car, that gadget, that vacation you can't afford, you ain't just putting money aside. You're building capital. You're building the machinery that's going to produce more wealth tomorrow. Real savings ain't dead money sitting in a checking account. Real savings gets deployed. It buys assets. It buys tools. It buys time and opportunity. It buys you the ability to take the next shot, make the next move, build the next thing. You save $1,000, you can invest it. You can start a side business. You can buy equipment. You can pay cash for something instead of paying interest for the next 5 years. That ain't hoarding. That's ammunition. But the bosses, they got the whole system rigged to make you consume now. Easy credit, buy now, pay later, 0% financing. They're pumping the marketplace full of temptation because every dollar you spend today is a dollar you can't use to build tomorrow. And that keeps you dependent. That keeps you working for them instead of yourself. Yeah, he bought it, a whole package. Another one. Hold on, I'm explaining how the game's rigged. Where was I? Right, the squeeze. So here's what happens. You're out of your work and earn a decent paycheck. But every time you turn around, there's something else to buy. New phone drops. Car needs upgrading. Your wardrobe's outdated. Your apartment needs better furniture. Got to eat out because you're too tired to cook. Got to subscribe to 17 different services because everybody's watching it. And just like that, you spent everything you made. Worse, you spent more than you made. You put the difference on credit. Now you're paying the vig on consumption that didn't even make you happy. Meanwhile, look at the other guy, the guy who said no, the guy who drove the paid-off car for another year, the guy who kept the old phone, the guy who cooked at home and skipped the impulse buys. You think he's miserable? You think he's suffering? Nah, he's free. Because while you're scrapping together rent, he's got 6 months of expenses in the bank. He's got capital. He's got options. He's got the one thing money can actually buy: choice. You got stuff. He got power. I've seen it 100 times. Good people, hard workers. They made 50, 60, 70 grand a year. Should have been set. But every year it all disappeared. They had nothing to show for it except a closet full of clothes and a driveway full of metal. And they had a credit card balance that made their stomach turn. They spent their whole life consuming. And you know what they built? Nothing. Not a damn thing. They took the cannoli and left you the gun. That's what consumption does. It feels good in the moment, but it leaves you empty in the long run. And by the time you figure that out, you're 45 years old with no savings and no way out. Now come closer, because here's the part that changes everything. Right now, this very second, every dollar you're consuming instead of saving is costing you the future. You're paying the VIG on your own potential. Think about it. That $300 you spent last month on stuff you didn't need, that could have been invested. At a 10% return, that's $30 a year. Compound that over 20 years and you're looking at $2,000 from 1 month of saying no. Now multiply that by 12 months. Multiply that by 10 years. You see where I'm going with this? Every time you consume instead of save, you're not just losing the money. You're losing the productivity that money could have generated. You're losing the business you could have started, the asset you could have bought, the freedom you could have had. The suits figured this out a long time ago. That's why they're constantly advertising to you. That's why every website, every app, every show you watch is designed to make you want something. Because the second you stop wanting, you start building. And a population that's building, that's a population they can't control. Underconsumption ain't deprivation. It's delayed gratification. It's the ability to say, not today. I got bigger plans. And that is the most dangerous thing you can do in a consumer economy. So what do? How do you win this game? Step 1, redefine savings. Stop thinking of it as not spending. Start thinking of it as building future productivity. Every dollar you save today is a soldier you're deploying tomorrow. Step 2, audit your consumption. Look at what you bought last month. How much of it actually made your life better? How much was impulse? How much was because everybody else was doing it? Cut the dead weight. Step 3, build a war chest. Not just an emergency fund, a deployment fund. Money you can use to make moves, to invest, to start, to scale. That's the difference between saying you're going to do something and actually doing it. And here's the secret. Nobody tells you. Once you get used to under-consuming, you stop missing the stuff. You realize most of what you were buying wasn't making you happy anyway. It was just filling a hole. They convinced you was there. Real wealth, real freedom. It's quiet, it's boring, it's saying no 1,000 times so you can say yes to the one thing that actually matters. So here's the offer. I'm extending you a chair at the table. You want it on the real game. You want to stop playing the consumer and start playing the builder. Hit that like button, subscribe. That tells me you're serious. That tells me you understand the difference between looking rich and being rich. This ain't for spending just because you got it. This is for deploying. This is for building the machinery that makes more of itself. The question is, are you going to keep consuming your way into a corner, or are you going to underconsume your way into freedom? You got one life, one ledger, and every dollar you spend today is a dollar you can't invest tomorrow. Now get out of here. I got moves to make.